Here's exactly how life insurance agents are closing 15 to 30% of all the deals that come through their pipeline. My name is Trey. I'm the owner of Agent Lead Lab. In the past 4 years, we've helped well over 700 agents issue pay $40,000 per month. And on this channel, I try to talk about the strategies, tactics, and behaviors that you can go out and implement as well into your business. So I'm going to be breaking this down. As always, please make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Through these on today, just so I can have a little bit more clarity through the headset. So hopefully you all can hear me. And I want to get really tactical today. All right, so I want to talk about how you can convert high intent leads at about 15 to 30% and how we've been able to do that for agents over the years. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about is the law of compounding effect. Okay. So what this states is that every age lead was once a high intent lead. Okay. Now that's very important for you to understand because most people think that the reason why people like working age leads is because they can get a lot of leads for a low price, right? And the thing is, you're trading your time for money, okay? Or in another way, basically, you're paying a lower cost to exhaust more of your time. All right. So most agents see that as the most profitable way to grow. And you are 100% correct. You can get a lot more with 100 age leads if you work them properly. Your ROI can be significantly higher. Your client acquisition cost can be much lower. So your margins are a lot higher. But the thing is, you're trading your time. So it's very difficult to scale and be the leader to do that. And also, it wears agents out over time if all they're doing is just dialing age leads forever. Okay. So it's very, very important that you actually put together a game plan for agents to be successful. But you, as the agent and agency owner, also need to learn how to actually convert these leads at a higher clip. Okay. So I'm going to be breaking that down. So every age lead was once a high intent lead. We're talking about the law of compounding effect. Okay. And I was talking to an agent for an agency. It was funny. I was in a car the other day. This is where the story comes from. And the gentleman FaceTimed me and he was doing really well in the leads. And he was just like, yo, man, I did really well in the leads. I bought a pack 2 weeks ago. I closed, I think it was like 8K. And then I swung back on the pack and closed another 7K. So he did about 15K off of a $2,000 lead spend or whatever, right? So like a little under 7X, a little over 7X, I'm sorry, return, which is really good in this issue paid business. And we were talking and it was funny because he was like, yo, with the high intent leads, the thing I like is like, obviously I was able to close a lot my first week and I just swung back on the same pack and worked it again for another week. And he was like, that's probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy these high intent leads and I'm going to work them. And then I'll buy 50 or 100 at a time. I'll work them. I'll close what I can out of them. And then I'll swing back and close again. And they'll basically become my own age leads. And I laughed because I was like, dude, I've been preaching that for years. And nobody really understands this. And I call this the law of compounding effect. I guess I made it up. Maybe it is a law. Don't know. But it's what I call it, right? So every age lead was once a high intent lead. All right. So the question, right, becomes, how do I turn my own leads into my own database? Okay. Now, most people come to me or to other companies to do what? Buy age leads. But the question is, you have tons of age leads. The problem is you don't look at them like age leads. You just look at them like, oh, these are my old leads. But old leads to you, age leads to somebody else. That's funny because somebody was like, dude, these leads season really well. And I think in general, leads do season well. When you're buying age leads, they were just fresh leads that are now aged. There's no difference. It's literally the same thing. The only difference is you're framing it differently. And now you're paying less for them, right? But you could do that same thing with your leads. You can just give them to your clients, give them to your agents. Now, the reason why I say 15 to 30% is because most people look at a pack, they run it, they'll buy 100 leads. They're like, dude, I only closed like 7. It's like, okay. But reality of that was, what if you closed 7 your first time for the first 30 days, and then day 30 to 45, the extra 15 days, you bought more fresh leads, but then you went back and you swung back and you closed another 6 deals, right? So now you're at 15%. Right? Or whatever that math is, 13%, right? Weeks of the month, you close another 4 deals from that first pack. So you're literally at 16% or whatever that number is, 16, 17% closing rate on the pack. Let's say you close 10% up front, right? And then you close another 5 and another 5. Now you're at 20. Let's say you close 22, right? And let's say you close 15% of your first time around, right? And then you close another 5 and then you close another 10, right? Now you're at 30. And let's say you actually do that process over 3 months, right? Because typically, what do they say? Leads are 30 to 90 days or 45 to 90. And all you're going to do is swing back and buy the pack. So the reality is you just need to break down your numbers. Most people don't actually know their numbers, so they can't grow. Right? I heard a very strong phrase. It was like, if you don't know your numbers, you can't grow your numbers. And a lot of times we don't know our numbers. So then we go into things very haphazardly and we get upset and we look at things very emotionally rather than logically. A client a few days ago, they hit me up And they were like, yo, I don't know how much I can spend on leads, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, look, just do this. I was like, yo, I explained it to them. I was like, look at your numbers like this. Look at your KPIs. Look how much you're spending. Break your numbers down so we can actually look at it. And then we can say, okay, this is how much you spent. This is how much you returned. All right, based on that, this is what we need to continue to invest going forward. If you want to make more money, this is how much we need to spend on leads. Here's how many leads we need to get per week. We need to make sure the order gets filled. And then, right, et cetera, et cetera. So that's the most effective way to grow, right? But the compounding effect allows you to convert leads. And most people look at high intent leads the wrong way. They only look at it the first time they work them. But once again, every age lead was once a high intent lead. So your own leads become your own age leads. But if you swing back on that pack in 2 weeks and you close another 2, you actually closed 4. And then you swing back again and you close another one, you close 5. And then you swing back one more time and then you close 6. And now you close 6 out of 25. But you didn't look at it like that, right? Because most people are just so quick. Now, it's not to say you didn't exhaust the lead list. You should be swinging back on your packs all the time. And another gentleman reached out to me in another agency. We were talking. He's like, dude, I swung back on your pack from February and closed 2. Just swung back on my pack, ran through it real quick, closed 7K. He's like, I gave him to my brother. My brother swung around. He wrote another, 3, 4K. Right? A girl, same thing. I'm like, okay, so the goal is not that. The goal is the problem. You don't look at then they'll leave and they'll be like, I'm gonna go try something else. It's like, that's dumb. You already want money. And then they'll come back and be like, dude, actually, I should do really well when I looked at it. It's like, yeah, because you never looked at your numbers. You never actually broke down your numbers. How can I get the most with the little, with the least? And also, they don't frame their time. Like, you don't look at your time. Like, I always contemplate going back and like selling again, and I really think I will at some point because it's just in me. But then I contemplate not doing it too at the same time because I just have a lot of stuff going on. But reason being is like it's so simple. This business is so simple, and if you just understood that as an agent, you'd write so much more business. You really would, because you wouldn't overcomplicate things that don't matter, right? You would just look at, like I told another guy the other day, and this is all compounding effect because it's all about reworking your leads, and that's really like if you had to detail out exactly what it is, that's what it is, right? It's like, how can I go back and rework my leads? How can I go back and look at the leads that I already have, and how can I work them more effectively? So all you have to do is, I had a gentleman that was like, yo, the leads aren't really going well right now, whatever. And by the way, if anybody watches me or knows how I do things, I'm very transparent, very open. I try not to act like it's perfect with us because it's not. Sometimes there's good weeks, bad weeks. Some people like that, some people don't, but I'm just honest. I don't really I shoot very straightforward. So the gentleman was like, hey man, leads, high intent leads not really going really well for me right now. I was like, okay. I was like, well, how about we do this? I was like, why don't you just shut all that down, stop the lead flow. I was like, let's go back and just work all the leads that you have. Right? They were like, what? I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, you probably never heard that. He was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, well, dude, let's get profitable. Let's go back. There's something going on. Let's work all the leads you have and let's just start fresh. Wait a week, go back, run through all your packs, color out your sheet, just start from the beginning. He goes back, he rips off like 7K in the next 2 or 3 days. He rips out like another 2K, and then he comes back and he's like, yo, let's get started again. And the reason I say that is like sometimes you just need to take a step back, pause, right? It's your mentality, it's the things you're going through. He had some personal things going on, back's kind of against the wall. And let's just say, all right, what's the best way for us to move forward? Sit down, looks at it. He's like, all right, cool. Well, let's take these out. Let's take this out. Let's just go back. Let's make some money. Let's stop the bleeding. Let's reconnect. Let's figure out where we can make some adjustments. And then boom, let's move forward. Right? And he made the money. Now we can move forward, put the money back into leads, right? It's a process, but it's the compounding effect of him being able to work his own list that now turns into age. He doesn't have to swing back to get more leads. He's got all the leads he has. People like, they're like, oh man, I'm just trying to, it's like, dude, take a second, breathe. Look at all the leads you have. It's funny because like when I ran high intent leads, when I was an agent, I was paying for mailers. I still bought leads. People were like, yeah, you did it. Like, dude, I still was buying leads too. Like I was literally getting mailers for $70, $80, $90. I was getting final expense for $40. And then I was still buying leads out the ILC. I was spending $2 to $3 grand a week. And I was only writing 40. This is back in the day. I know people are spending $2, $3 grand a week and they're writing 60, 70, 80, 100. But like, that's what I'm saying. Like you have to buy, it's like you're stocking up on inventory. You have to buy leads. Like you need them. And you have to have enough, and you have to be able to reel back and work them. Even if it's funny because even if you buy age leads, you can swing back on your own age leads. Like I don't think people realize that they just look at like oh yeah, I called them 3 times a day for like 4 days. Now they're bad. It's like what? Do you know how many people may fill out a form and be on a plane, getting ready to take off? You call them 10 minutes later, they don't answer. You try to call them again, they don't answer. Then they go out the country, they come back. They really wanted it. You never talked to them. Like, there's a million things that could happen. We just think that every single person is sitting at a cubicle when they fill out the form. We have no type of thought process to say like these people are probably doing something. Let me call them 5, 6 times throughout the day because they could be at a million different things. They could be getting coffee. They could be at the gym. They could be talking to their kids. Something could go on. Somebody could have threw up at their house. Like there are tons of other things that could have happened that are not directly correlated to us, but we want to blame leads rather than understanding that life is life and that everybody has a situation. And that if somebody filled out the form and put their information in, depending on where you're getting your leads from, right? If it's an actual legit landing page, text verified lead with like open-ended questions, qualified lead, like bro, that's not autofill. Like they went through that, so you have to just figure out when and how to get in contact with them. You blaming it or this or that, it's like stop making excuses. There are zero excuses. It doesn't matter, right? So at the end of the day, you have to know how to do that. So hopefully this video helped. As always, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. So quick breakdown, but this is how you're going to close at 15 to 30%. It's really not hard. You just have to swing back and work the leads properly. You're going to close the first time maybe 10 to 12. Then you're going to swing back on it again, close another 3 to 5%. So maybe three to depending on how many leads you get, like another 3 to 5%, and then you'll swing back again and probably close another 5 to 8%. And if you do that, you'll get 15 to 30 every time. Now, will you always get 30? Probably not. Most of the times you're going to get 15 to 22, 23. Like 30 is like very, very far off, or like you're just absolutely hammering these leads and you're really good at closing. Like your close percentage per presentation would be like probably 75 to 80% above, right? But if not, it doesn't really matter. It's like, dude, as long as you can work the leads, you'll be fine. The other people that are like, yo, nobody picked up. It's like, bro, I can call through this list and I guarantee I get pickups. Guaranteed, because I know how to work leads. It's not hard. It's like, yeah, I called them 3 times. Like, well, call them 4, call them 5. I'm gonna call them until they pick up. Most of the time they pick up, they're like, oh yeah, cool. It's the person's like, why'd you keep calling me? Yeah, my bad. Just was going through. Anyways, nobody's really cared. It's like, yeah, man, you filled this out. You're looking for this, right? They're like, yeah. So, all right, cool. You booked the appointment. But most people just don't have that mindset. So don't be that person. Go out, execute, make stuff happen. As always, my name's Trey. I'm the owner of Agent Lead Lab. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate you as always. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.